Jim, our next question sent via the Cult of Cornette Facebook group by Nick Bennett. My Uncle Jack passed away a few weeks ago, and he always mentioned that his favorite wrestler was the mighty Igor. I was
Oh
wondering
my
if
God.
I was wondering if Jim had any stories about the mighty Igor, as I've seen that he wasn't as big a name as others were back in the day. Thanks.
Well, he was, but it was a day. The day was far enough back that people don't realize it. But I never met the mighty Igor, nor did I actually get to see him in person. But I saw him on TV, especially when I first found wrestling and would go to Aunt Lola's and get the Sheik's TV off Cincinnati television. But a lot of people still, it made me think even Ivan Putski is the bodybuilder, that teamed with Tito Santana or whatever in 1981. But the mighty Igor he was a Polish descent for real, I think, right? Because Dick Garza, what would that be? Is he Polish or was he maybe Greek?
Greece. I don't know.
But nevertheless, he was a bodybuilder and a weightlifter in the 50s and from somewhere in the Detroit area, and ended up getting involved in the wrestling business. And he was a good-looking, well-groomed young man with this nice body, but that was when he didn't have a gimmick. Somewhere along the way, pardon me for not having boned up on the mighty Igor, but they gave him the gimmick that he's this simple-minded Polish, he's a big muscle-bound character, but at the same time, he's very childlike. Boo Bradley was an homage. And he dressed in kind of a funny outfit with the long johns cut off and over his shoulders, the little top, and he had a cap, and he would come to the ring eating Polish sausage. And in some cases, his manager was, Ivan Kalmakov, right?
Oh, that's right. Early on, yeah.
Yeah, who was an old-time wrestler. And then he would speak for the mighty Igor because the mighty Igor would, oh, yes, Igor because he's simple-minded and he's Polish and he can't speak English. But don't get him mad. And what a baby face for the kids. And the kids like to take a bite of his Polish sausage. I don't know what's going on, but he was a strong man, and he was especially over in Detroit and Michigan in the Sheik's territory, where he was a main event babyface, made big money. And I think like Toronto, he was over there.
He was one of the guys pushed on the Eddie Einhorn TV show.
Yes. When Eddie Einhorn ran the IWA and tried to run opposite of the whole country for a while there in the 70s. He was with Ernie Ladd, Mil Mascaras. Mighty Igor was a major name. And he was so big and the gimmick was so over where I think he had a run in, oh, God damn it. Didn't he have a run in Georgia? Or am I thinking about Putski?
See, but nevertheless, I was getting confused too because I was wondering which one was in Texas and when. That's what I was just thinking.
Well, but Putski got over in Texas with the gimmick, because that's when Paul Bosch said when they made him just Ivan Putski with no gimmick and he could speak just fine in the WWF, they ruined him. But the mighty Igor gimmick was over so good that Ivan Putski, with a Joe Bednarski, right? He came along as a copy of the mighty Igor and did it in Texas in the 70s and various other places. And then, as I said, when he went to work for the WWF, they dropped the simple-minded Polish guy, but they would pull little toys on ropes to the ring or goddamn have the stuffed animals. So much of this was Boo Bradley, right? But the mighty Igor just came along in the 60s and early 70s where there's still not really any footage that exists where people have heard of Putski because of his modern run, but they might not know that he had that gimmick.